beautiful friends. It's Amanda here, and today we're talking about a new release coming soon from Nomad Cosmetics. This is their Florida Keys palette. It's called Keys Beachy and Peachy, and we definitely have some beachy and peachy colors inside here. This palette will be available on the Nomad site on Tuesday, June 25th. It has 18 eyeshadows inside and it will be priced at $49 US. However, if you plan to purchase this palette or pretty much anything else on the Nomad site, I do have an affiliate code. It's just my first name, Amanda, and that will save you 10% on this new palette and a bunch of other stuff on the Nomad site too. Today, I want to show you some close-ups of the palette, a bunch of swatches, and I'm also going to show you this really fun, colorful eye look that I'm wearing today. I also want to show you a couple of comparisons and some more looks in a secondary video. So let me know which palettes you want to see comparisons with. These two are the main ones that come to mind for me. This is their Costa Rica palette, the Monteverde Cloud Forest, and also the Paradise Islands, the Bora Bora and Tahiti palette. I do think in general these are going to be a lot more green. There's not a lot of green in this Florida Keys palette, but we'll definitely do some swatch comparisons and more looks in a secondary video, probably sometime next. I do have a lot of videos to catch up on, so I'm doing my best, but I am going to try to get this video out for their color story reveal day. That way you can see the swatches and hear a little bit about my thoughts about the palette ahead of the actual launch. So let's get into the fun part and get a close-up look at this palette and its packaging first. Both the palette and the outer carton that the palette come in have the exact same cover art on the front. And when we look at the box, we'll see some different information when we turn over to the back. I am somebody that likes to keep the boxes partially for storage and partially for this information reference. But we can see the color story displayed here and also some information about the fact that this palette is cruelty-free and vegan. I believe that all Nomad palettes are, but I like to point that out, especially when it's prominent on the packaging. Then looking up close at the artwork, this is the palette now that we've switched over to. You can see there's some little tropical drinks, key lime pie, flamingos, dolphins, coconut trees, very bright and bold and tropical, like the shades that are inside. And then here on the back, you can see that this is a proud supporter of Dolphin Research Center. I will link their website down in the description box if you're curious about the organization that this palette sales supports. Inside the palette, there is a nice big mirror, and then we see all 18 shades laid out here. We have 3 rows of 6, but I kind of see this more as 2 9-pan palettes side by side. I'll show you that later, but I want to give you a close-up here. I also will have some photos posted on either Instagram or TikTok or both, where you can see what this palette looked like before I destroyed it by swatching it and using it to death. You can still see that there are a bunch of cute little imprints here in all of the shadows in this palette, but I have really destroyed a lot of them over the past few days. This is what I mean. When you look at these 9-pan palettes, quote unquote, air quotes, imagine air quotes, I see a really bright beachy pastel 9-pan and then a more rich, like ocean sunset 9-pan. All together, these shades still work really well in my opinion, but I definitely see these 2 different 9-pan palettes jumping out at me, and that I think is really inspiring. I definitely want to explore that idea some more, and I did swatch them that way. So this is the front 9 of the palette, the first 3 columns, we could say. And I think this is a lovely, very, very beachy, very pastel, soft, kind of whimsical, almost springtime colors. But when it's paired with the bolder, more oceany colors, This definitely reads summery to me altogether, but I think this is just a cute little pastel palette. Not necessarily my personal favorite colors, but I do really like the bright, bright yellow that's in the center there. And this is more my speed tone wise. I'm definitely a fan of richer, more jewel tone type of colors. And I think that this little 9 pan palette within a palette gives me more of what I'm personally looking for. This is a very matte heavy palette. We have 11 true mattes and only 7 shimmers. I personally prefer more of an even split between mattes and shimmers, but again, that's just a personal preference. It doesn't mean that these shadows aren't good. It's just I like a little bit more shimmer personally. I did also do a full palette swatch here where I rearranged the shades to the more corals and yellows and then more blues and greens. I find this type of shade ordering really visually appealing and really soothing. So I wanted you to get a different view of the palette, just seeing the same shades organized in a different manner. But I think this is pretty. It's bright, it's beachy, it's very Florida. So the shades work really well within the theme. Now, I want to show you this palette in action. This is the bright, bold coral and blue look that you saw me wearing at the beginning of the video. I'm starting off just by priming my lids with the Ulta Matte Eye Primer, and then I'm going to very lightly start to build up a combination of these softer peachy matte shades in the crease area. And these are quite pigmented for how soft they look and how soft the swatches are. These actually build up really, really nicely on the eye once they're on top of this primer. When I do my swatches, I don't use a primer, I don't dampen my brush, but once there's a primer on the lids, I found that these were way more impactful than I was expecting them to be. Now I'm just building up a little bit more of that deeper peach shade called Shipwreck Trail in the outer half of that crease area. And I'm going to really work on blending all of these shades together before I start layering in the deeper shades. I always find it's easier to blend a lot at the beginning than try to fix it all at the end, at least for me. Now I'm going to use this deep corally shade called Sunset Celebration, and using a fluffy small brush, I'm just packing that onto the very outer part of the lid and then ever so slightly blending upwards into the crease towards the brow bone, but really just I want that shade to peek out of that little transition area there. I was really impressed with how evenly these shades applied. Typically, with really light colors like pastels and really bright colors like neons, I tend to have a lot of skipping and just unevenness on the lids, and these really applied and blended much more smoothly than I expected. So I was really happy with how these bright matte shades performed for me. Now I'm using a deep coral shimmer shade called Rum Runner, and I'm putting that almost all the way across the lid. I'm really just filling in the lid space and leaving a little bit blank on the inner corner. And then I'm going to take this lighter peach shade called Key Largo, and I'm going to put that on the very inner part of the eye and then softly blend across the lid so that I get a little sunset ombre effect on my lids. Now I'm building up that blue lower lash line. I'm starting with Overseas Highway, and with a flat brush, I'm just packing that right along my lower lashes and really smudging that really into the lash line there. Then I'm going to take a very, very small, teeny tiny little detail brush, and with the shade Come As You Are, that's the shimmery mid-tone blue shade. I'm going to put just a little tiny bit of that at the very, very inner corner part of that lower lash line color. Then I lined my lower waterline with the ColourPop BFF Cream Gel Liner Pencil in the shade Prance. Then I'm using the L'Oreal Panorama Mascara on my upper lashes, and then this colorful mascara from Lethal Cosmetics called Fuse on my lower lashes to really just pop that very bright blue lower lash. I wanted to experiment. This palette is so bright and so colorful that I really wanted to roll with it and just do something that's very, very different. So I have this sort of ocean sunset vibe on my eyes today. All in all, I felt like this look came together really quickly and easily. The formulas layered and blended beautifully, and the shimmers just really pop and shine. And most importantly, wear really, really well on my lids all day. So, all in all, super happy with the performance of this one so far. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this palette. I would love to hear if you're planning on picking it up. What type of looks do you want to see in the next video? Which palette comparisons do you want to see in the next video? I always love to hear all of your thoughts. I love taking your suggestions. So make sure you leave all of those down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Okay now. This is a fun little spicy look, isn't it? Do I need more blush? I kind of went subtle on the blush because I knew that I was gonna have a pretty intense eye look, but I feel like I could do with a little bit more blush. This is the Peach Sorbet blush filter. I really love these blushes. Ooh, yeah. Is it too much? Maybe did I do too much now? I did put kind of a lot on there. I mean, it's a dramatic look. We can just go very dramatic with it, I think. Okay. Oh, I'm testing out these new ColourPop So Juicy Plumping Glossy Lip Oils. And they don't have stinging plumping, but it's the cooling one, and it just still feels weird. I just don't like it. It's okay if you like it, but I don't like it. Focus. I don't know how much sense I make, but I feel like it's usually not that much. Can you hear my dog snoring? My little baby niece is visiting, and I was afraid that Maggie was not going to be that chill with a baby because she's never really met a baby before. But she's been such a good girl. I'm so proud of her. That's your Maggie update. Still a good girl. My little blue earrings, blue tie-dye, blue nails. So I had to do a little pop of blue on the look, you know? I'm trying my best. I'm always trying to branch out and try new things. I got eyeliner and colorful mascara on. Hello? Who is she? I gotta get rocking and rolling, okay? I gotta get this edited so that it can be up for Saturday. And I'm trying to soak in the family time. My niece is only going to be a little baby for so long. So I really want to focus on that because it's such a cute, special, magical little time to have with her. And she is. I know everybody thinks that the babies in their family are the cutest. I regret to inform you, this is the cutest baby. Look, Angie's going to be so proud of me because I know she loves Prance. I wonder what her looks are going to look like. I know she's going to have fun with this palette because it's so bright. Okay. We did it. That's it. We did it. I know I didn't use a lot of this shade, but my nails are matching this shade right here. And I did use it a little bit, but just so you know, matching nails, back in action. All right. That's it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you have just the most loveliest day. And happy summer. It's officially summer. And I'll be back soon with another video. I don't know what it'll be or when I'll post it, but it'll happen for sure. And I just love your face so much, and I will see ya really soon.